Today we are happy to welcome Bertram Seitz from Aryze.
Thank you very
Welcome,
much.
Bertram.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin.
And you are quite recently been the CEO of Aryze, which is a Danish stablecoin provider. We can dig more deeply into what that does mean, but maybe we could start with you and your background before Aryze.
Of course. Thank you very much, Martin, for having me. My name is Bertram Seitz. Can't get any more German. Born in Hamburg. Been in the market, starting off as an FX trader, FX trainee, FX trader back in 1981. Spent some decades in the FX industry, but already entered into online trading, electronic trading in the mid-90s, the first project in Dresden at that time. Spent some years in Luxembourg, then Denmark again. Been part of the Saxo team for some time. And since 15, 16, more or less getting into the blockchain. Live now in Zug, Switzerland, the crypto valley of Europe. So can't be any better. And joined Aryze as a client roughly 1 year ago, and then the partnership developed, and now I'm trying to take Aryze to where it belongs, the next step.
Yeah, because the company is not quite new. It's from 2017 and has been building. And so your mission is then what, to grow?
Absolutely, to grow and bring what we actually build, or what the team built, very visionary over the last years. I mean, they've been talking about programmable money before the name stablecoin even was invented, right? So, but now it's we have a very, very strong, compliant, secure infrastructure to issue stablecoins for anybody. We could do a modern Norwegian kroner for you in 48 hours, and you would have your own stablecoin, right? And now we started to identify and see also the buzz, of course, in the industry. Stablecoins are getting more and more interesting for infrastructure, client-facing payments, cross-border payments, optimizing all the rails concerning ledger, concerning cost, transparency, and so on. So we are now I've been in the business more than 40 years, and there's a couple of people around me who I know since then as well, and we have a very strong network internationally. And now we're just defining our segments, or we did start that already. We have different segments where we already have live clients, but now we're doing the next push, and it's connected to, of course, regulation. So that's why we are going for a full EMI license out of Denmark. Hopefully we will receive it before the end of the year.
Yeah, and that also then include MiCA is part of MiCA, but it's also a sort of a fintech open banking type of license also.
Yes,
yeah,
exactly.
So, but if we try to translate this new industry for people, we have had paper money or all types of money before that, of course, and we have had cards, and we have had new ways of doing payments. And what is the new thing with the stablecoin? Because it's not only used in the crypto industry, it's also sort of being type of bridge.
It is a bridge, let's say, from some people don't like the expression, but what we're actually trying to do, dump money smart. Yeah. So by digitizing cash, fiat backed one-to-one, all the way compliant it has to be, and audited and everything. But if you have the digital cash, it gives a lot of advantages. It moves faster, it moves safe, and what is very important, it is programmable. So depending on whatever happenings there are, if you're an exporter, I mean, we all know letter of credit and stuff like that. All these conditions and parameters you can actually program into your money. Yeah. And this is where we see definitely that all payment rails in the next years will go on the blockchain, because it's secure, it's decentralized ledger. and it's just fast and very efficient and cost efficient as well.
And in the back end, you are also then an infrastructure company, so you are able to tokenize different kinds of assets based on a tokenization engine, as I understand. What does that mean?
So what always is needed when you want to tokenize something, it has to be there. So end of the day, we need to have a proof of asset. So either when you say, I want to tokenize Norwegian kroner, 1 million, yeah, then we need to have a bank account where there is 1 million real Norwegian kroner. And then we get confirmed this backing and we say, okay, this is the reserve. And based on the reserve, we can then, as they call it, mint, create digital Norwegian kroners, which are backed 1-to-1 with the physical in the back end. And then the moment you did that, then you can use blockchain as a technology, as an infrastructure technology.
I saw that you also are doing audits every month to prove that you have these assets, sort of. Is that true?
That is true. There's we actually one of the few in the world, if not the only ones, where Grant Thornton, some call it an audit, but they don't call it, say, we come next Tuesday at 4 and then we look what you have. So what we actually gave them access to is all our backings, our segregated accounts, our wallets, our bank accounts, and they come in like a whistleblower once a month. We don't know when. And they take a snapshot and they make sure that every digital asset that is out there on the blockchains is backed sufficiently by real assets for e-gold, in gold storage, in the bank accounts, in treasuries, whatever it may be. So they check that once a month, and then they send us the report, and it's published on our homepage, so it's publicly available.
With this tokenization platform, are you able to tokenize stocks, gold, real estate, whatever, or are you focused on the money part? I mean, the dollar, the euro, the krona?
I think in the beginning, let's put it that way, we could tokenize any asset that has a price, because if you don't have a price on it, you don't know the value, right? So it can be anything. I mean, we're looking at putting silver, platinum at the moment, maybe oil, maybe wheat, maybe can be soft commodities, whatever. Anything that has a price can have a transparent reserve can be tokenized. I think for the next couple of years we will concentrate on currencies, because that is what the people use the most. That is needed in daily rails. I mean, everybody's doing bank transfers, mobile pay transfers, whatever it is, every single day. And I think that's the biggest industry to start with, to say, okay, before we get into tokenizing real estate projects, which is a little, it's not as liquid and as trusted as the currencies who are backed by central banks at the moment, at least.
But are you then also minting currencies, digital currencies or stablecoins on your own, if you understand? Or do you always have a client that is using your infrastructure?
We have a small portion of digitized. We have our own euros, our own sterling, and our own dollars. But it's a very, very small portion that was just a proof of concept to show that it actually works like this, and we get the audit and can show everybody that the infrastructure works, that we are offering as a service to third parties.
But if we follow American news cycle, they are talking about of course, the new law, Genius Act, I think it's called.
Yep.
But they're also talking about building sort of so much traction on stablecoins that it possibly could help to reduce the debt of the American government. But is it possible to compete with the dollar or dollar-based stablecoins?
I think we feel in the market that there is a kind of movement away from the dollar as the reserve currency. And you also feel that in stablecoins. Of course, you have the big ones at the moment. You have Tether, you have Circle. But Circle, that's nearly a central bank digital currency. I mean, Tether, there has been a lot of doubts about the backing. So And even though they make massive profits, but we know where they come from. I mean, if I have billions of stablecoins out there and I put them in treasuries and I keep all the interest income for myself, of course I make a lot of profit, right? So that's another thing that Aryze does. If you get your own stablecoin, we share the backing with you, depending on how big the volume is, of course. So there's an extra source of income there. But the States is a very, I mean, with the Genius Act, they're really pushing in that direction. Of course, people have to buy treasuries, right? Happy days for a government. No? So I don't want to get political, but it's clearly like that. Everything that happens under the Genius Act is backed exactly by US treasuries, full stop. Yeah. And what we see or have seen is in corporate now, we have 2-3 guys or customers who are looking into internal infrastructure and need a, let's say, clearing currency on the blockchain, and they're going versus gold. They rather have gold assets than dollar assets at the moment, even if they are not interest carrying, but they feel more secure to base their treasury on gold than dollars.
But as I understand it, also then stablecoins is also then now regulated by MiCA, comparable to the Genius Act, but
Yeah.
more or less. So you guys, you are applying to be have a license on MiCA, but also on more of an open banking type of license. Is that true? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what we're trying to do the combination. So we're going for an EMI license in the EU out of Denmark to be able to issue compliant stablecoins that can face retail users in the EU. So that's a necessity, but that's only the one model. The other model is, of course, then you have the stablecoin, but if you can't transact it, what does it really help, right? And not everybody is ready for stablecoins. Let's say platform services out there. So we want to be able to offer both rails in the start. So we offer blockchain rails in stablecoins, but we also want to offer payment services in fiat rails.
So then you are moving more towards being a neobank, or is that?
I mean, if you look at the requirements of the application, you should know, you should think it is a full bank.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no, no, but it is actually like that. So when we obtain the licenses, then somebody who does KYC with Aryze will get a dashboard, and in this dashboard you will have multi-currency IBANs, and you will have a blockchain or crypto wallet that can handle more or less any asset. And everything will be within the platform, exchangeable, movable. So that's the idea. That is what we're actually trying to do, is put IBAN and SWIFT in the first place on the blockchain, because we think there's a big need to optimize this flow.
Just a question about the different trends and in the Nordics, because we are trying to find out what is happening in Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland, and even in the
Yeah.
Baltics. And in Norway, the crypto exchanges and brokers are rather strong. In Sweden, the same. In Finland, the same. While in Denmark, it doesn't seem to be a major crypto exchange or crypto broker, but instead you guys are moving into services or infrastructure or something like that. Do
Yeah.
you have an explanation of that?
I think, and that comes back to what actually makes Danish licenses very recognized globally. It's extremely tough. Yeah. I think I don't know the details, but I can imagine if you want to open a crypto brokerage, centralized crypto brokerage in Denmark, the requirements will be extremely tough. So for people, they just decide, okay, let's do it out of Cyprus or whatever, and then passport it as much as possible into the clients. Yeah. No, I mean, we were going on the hard road with the EMI. We could have chosen maybe Poland or Estonia or something like that. But we know, for example, that in the US, and we opened a US entity already, so we're just finding out about the licenses. But we know with the Danish EMI, you tick a lot of boxes from day one everywhere in the world because everybody knows how tough it is. So we choose the tough road now to make life easier, hopefully afterwards. Yeah.
And there's one question I have related to what you're offering, because you are offering also branded stablecoins. And I have to ask, what is the point? You could have an AP Muller stablecoin, you can have a Netflix stablecoin or whatever. I could even ask you guys to create a Kaupr stablecoin, as I understand it. But why should I do that?
For me, it's a pure branding thing. Technically, there is absolutely no difference. It just has a logo. It has its own logo and its own name. So this is for people who want to show innovation, whatever. Yeah, we have our own digital dollar, euro, Norwegian krona, whatever it is. It's a pure marketing thing. Big brands who are client facing, yeah, why not? It's marketing. End of the day, it doesn't change the advantages of of the infrastructure itself. It's a pure market.
Because you still would have to prove the asset that is supporting it, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. But of course, in the audit report, it will then say APML dollars, so and so many, because you have you can better sort it, which wallets belong to who, and things like that. So it's really about it's about branding. It's about showing security out of your own brand. If people trust you from before, why not go that road?
Yeah, maybe also if you look into the trends regarding embedded services. I mean, when enterprises are moving towards supporting their own way of transferring money more and more independently of the bank, is that part of the argument?
Can be absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've seen that before. We've seen that back in the 90s and 2000s, where all of a sudden I'm from Germany, so if you look at Volkswagen, they have their own bank. Daimler-Benz, they have their own bank. So this can go in the same direction, just digital now.
Yeah. I understand that the main blockchain platform is Ethereum, is it? But you're also supporting Concordium. Is it blockchain neutral when you are minting the stablecoins, or can you support several types of blockchains?
Yeah. So we are, point one is we are blockchain agnostic. When the client comes to us, I would like to have a stablecoin on blockchain ABC. We do it for him. The client decides where he wants it. We don't really care. Concordium is one of our, let's say, favorites at the moment because we're going into the TradeFi business or segment. And what Concordium has, which the others don't have at the moment, that is an ID layer. So you have a zero knowledge proof of ID. So, for example, if we have a counterpart that is in the betting, for example, they need to make sure that everybody who's funding their account in the betting company is above 18. So, and this can be provided by Concordium because they have this zero knowledge ID layer on the blockchain. So for these kind of industries and also for TradeFi, it's another step of security and compliance that other blockchains don't show at the moment. On the other hand, we support more than 70 blockchains that are all so-called Ethereum virtual machines and Ethereum itself at the moment. So there's a big variety, and there will be many, many more blockchains. And then, but then at one stage, I expect that there will be a kind of people will decide which ones they prefer. Right? It depends on which project is faster to develop and make it faster, cheaper, and so on, like in any other business. But at the moment, we're supporting any EVM chain that's out there. That's our bread and butter. Yeah.
Quite recently, there have also been a lot of the payment providers. They have also invested in or building their own blockchain. I mean, Stripe is doing it. PayPal is doing it.
Heavily, yeah.
And they could have built a layer 2 on top of Ethereum, as I understand it. But why do they go this road? And does this disrupt the ecosystem that is being built?
No, I mean, if you look at PayPal, PayPal did their own PayPal dollar. And this is simply to optimize cross-border payments. Yeah. Because you can move from one chain, you move much, much faster, the money. Yeah, much, much faster digitally. Because there is, besides the on-ramp and off-ramp, there is no bank or SWIFT or anything in the middle. So it makes it much, much easier. And they choose their own dollar because then it's their own dollar and they make the money on the back end, right?
But
It's Paxos who build them for them, but so I'm sure they have a profit share of the treasury income.
yeah, but did they need a separate blockchain to be able to offer a separate dollar? Perhaps they do, I don't know.
No, if they needed another blockchain.
Yeah, a separate blockchain, I mean a layer 1 blockchain, as I understand, they are building
Yeah, I
several
mean
of these companies.
that's one of the big differences that we have in Aryze, the flexibility we give, because our smart contracts, our stable coins, they have a certain DNA, and that means that any stable coin we issue with this logic DNA inside is exchangeable to any other asset that we create. We call it Reforge at the moment. The logic is that there's two things to it. If I own, for example, a digital euro from Aryze, but now all of a sudden I need dollars, normally you would go to a third-party place, to a centralized exchange, a decentralized exchange, a Uniswap, a MetaMask, or whatever it is. So, but when I then deliver my digital euros and I get my dollars back, I actually don't know where they come from. There is no AML check. It's decentralized, so I have no clue where these dollars have been or what they've been touching. And that was the trigger for us to say, okay, let's find another logic. So what we do is we actually burn the euros on the blockchain, so they disappear. We have an interbank FX rate in the back. So that gives me a certain amount of dollars. And with these assets, these new dollars, cash dollars, if you want, we mint the dollar stablecoin on any blockchain you want. And this is one of the big advantages. No third-party smart contracts involved, no liquidity pools needed, and you burn and mint with yourself. So there is no anti-money. It's all it's documented on the blockchain in a transaction hash. You burned, boop, you mint. So and this is for compliance matters. This is going to be extremely important in the future. I think they will have a lot of trouble, all these decentralized exchanges and swaps, unless they build in some form of ID layer.
But if you guys or your companies that has used your platform are going to change or interchange currencies with stablecoins or other type of payment rails, they have to use like Chainlink or Swift or whatever. You have also to talk to the other worlds, if you understand what I mean.
Absolutely. So there's more and more stable coins coming out there, and we know most of the people, so we're actually talking to them because we can look at the smart contract. Let's say there's another dollar stable coin. Let's call it XYZ dollar, but it's siloed because it's issued, and to exchange it, you need to go to an exchange, decentralized or centralized. What we can tell them then is, if your smart contract is upgradable, then we could put 3 lines of code in there, and then you're part of our ecosystem, because then you are reforgeable like everybody else. So, and this we already do today, not only with stablecoins, we already do that today for one client with NFTs, which are generated on Binance Smart Chain, and we burn them and mint them on his own proprietary chain. We can already do that today. So we are actually able to do any coin to any coin without third-party liquidity, without third-party smart contracts. That is, and that is at the moment our biggest advantage.
You referred to Circle as sort of a CBDC earlier in the talk. What do you think about CBDCs? I think that Denmark has not any active exploration going on. They are just trying to find out what is happening in the EU, while there are some projects in Norway, for instance, exploring whether there should be launched a CBDC or not. And what is your thoughts about CBDCs? Do we need it? Is it a threat to privacy, or what do you think?
I think this is very country specific. I mean, as far as known, the Chinese are having a kind of pilot project already at the
Yeah, but
moment.
maybe not in the right way.
Yeah, there's always two sides to the medal, right? The US clearly went for private side should fix it.
Yeah.
The EU, I mean, God knows when they finally will do something. I think it will be extremely difficult. There's too many countries that have different opinions on that. So I think it's going to take a while. I think there will be CBDCs, but I think they will go alongside with private stablecoins, if you want to call it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it will be a mixed type
It will be a mixed type.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
Even stablecoins on Bitcoin, as I've seen right now, there was launched one. Will that also be a part of the payment, or will it be Lightning, if you understand?
You know, it comes down to the definition of stable, right? So is Brazilian real stablecoin the stablecoin? No, it's pegged one to one.
Yeah.
That's what it is. But I mean, the underlying assets risk is mirrored one to one, of course, in the digital asset. Yeah. So now it's going to be very, very interesting times. One thing I think I'm really sure about, that everything that is moving assets, or not even moving assets, transacting assets, changing ownership of assets without moving the asset, that is the future, and that is what you can do on blockchain.
Yeah, and then we are talking about tokenization of all
Of
kinds of
any
assets.
asset,
Yeah.
and anything that has a value can be tokenized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we sum it up in the end here, where do you think the stablecoin industry is going? Is it also going into the TradFi sector? And where will Aryze, which type of part in that development will Aryze take?
We think it will go into any sector, anything that has to do with transaction of assets. As we said, it will be stablecoins, fiat-backed stablecoins first. I think the next step will be, it's already there now. There's a few gold tokens out there. I have one of them. So there will be there will be silver, platinum. There will be, next step will be going into soft commodities. There will be stable coins that are for oil, for gas, for whatever comes up. What is the next energy trading? Carbon trading will be digital. Even the FX trading is the biggest industry, and we already have, that's maybe for another session, have thoughts about building a total revolution of how to trade FX, where actually foreign exchange is not a product, foreign exchange is a function. So this is for the future. But we have a strong, innovative founder team, amazing people. So they're mine.
Yeah, and your role is then to scale it. And how far can you scale Aryze outside of Denmark, outside of the Nordics? What is the potential?
We are going for global expansion. We have which I can't announce now, but we have a very strong relationship with one of the biggest open banking platforms in the world. They're just waiting for us to get the first license, and then there will be announcements. And they work globally, and through the network I have over the years, and my close network has, we are already in contact with Asia, with South America, with the States. So it will grow organically, and the speed will be decided by the speed of licensing. We will not go anywhere without being fully licensed. Compliance is one of the most important things. We're entering a new era. We have a very good chance to have a big footprint in there. So being compliant is key when you expand.
Okay, then, Bertram, thank you very much, and we look forward to see both how the industry develops, but also your place in it. So good luck to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to this episode from Kaupr. If you enjoyed the conversation, subscribe to the Future of Finance podcast, available both on-chain and on your favorite platforms. And remember, Future of Finance isn't just a podcast. Sign up for your newsletter to get news, deep dives, and insights, and to be the first to know when new podcast episodes drop. Stay connected with us and never miss an update.